Hello everyone, my name is Noah in particular and welcome back to another video, and today I'll be going over my Airsoft Beginner Buyer's Guide. So let's get into it. Real quick before this video starts, I want to make the disclaimer. I am not being paid by any company. This is not an advertisement for any company. I have no affiliation with any company to recommend any one product. I do have an Evike affiliate link that if you do want to use on any of these recommendations, I would greatly appreciate it. But if there's a better deal on a different website of any of these products, go to there. Airsoft is a very expensive sport. This one rifle in and of itself, I've put about $1,000 into. For your first time playing Airsoft, I would recommend to not spend any money on gear, BBs, guns, anything. I would recommend renting from the field to get a feel of the field and feel of Airsoft before you play. This way, if you don't like it, which I doubt you won't, I've seen probably like 2 people that just didn't like Airsoft after they played it. Trust me, I think you're gonna like it. You pay about $10 for the entry and about $30 for the rental kit. And the rental kit's gonna come with a gun, BBs, battery, magazines. And if you run out of BBs, you'll rather A, refill you up if they're a good field for free, or you can buy a bottle of BBs for 10, 15 bucks. I have no money in this. This has taken me a while to play. I have been playing this game for 8 years. I love this game. This game has been a passion of mine. All the recommendations are rather coming from me in my experience as a veteran player, or people that I know that have been playing as long, if not longer than I have. They're coming from reputable fields and the employees whom I know personally and asked personally for their recommendations, or techs that I know personally and have asked for their recommendations. So with that being said, let's get on with the video. The 4 recommendations I have for Airsoft beginner rifles are the Specna Arms Core Series of any sort of specific model, the Classic Army ML12, the Vulcan ASL, and the G&G Combat Machine. So we're going to start off with the Specna Arms Core Series, offering for around $150 to $300 depending on the brand you get, and if there's any deals running on it, they should be around 200 bucks. They offer a quick change spring system, and they come with a 380 FPS spring installed with around a 310 FPS spring in the box. They have a rotary hop-up with a 6.03 type bore barrel. They have a fiberglass reinforced polymer receiver, and they have a lot of different models to fit various different types of weapon styles. Of course, that will affect price, but with the different styles, if you really want to accessorize your rifle or just keep it standard looking, there's plenty of options for you. Now, with the rotary hop-up, the type bore barrel, the quick change spring, and the fiberglass reinforced receiver, for a lot of new beginners, it doesn't really make sense of what that is, and it doesn't really sound, it sounds super fancy, and you might not know what it is as a new player. For anyone who's seasoned, we would know that going for rotary hop-up, type bore barrel, quick change spring, polymer receiver that is reinforced is a very good deal. It comes with a lot of accoutrement. I'm French now. A lot of cool things that don't necessarily mean gimmick, but they're still high quality. And overall, Specna Arms has kind of taken the place of the meta for a beginner rifle, and it kind of took the throne away from the G&G Combat Machine, which we will get into in a little bit. Number 2 on the list is the Classic Army ML12. MSRP for around $150 to $200. I have seen fluctuations on Evike in price depending on color. It has a quick change gearbox for another quick change spring. It has a 6.03 type bore barrel and a ECS digital trigger with programming firing modes. Now, the programmable trigger with the different firing modes, you can also find that in their X9 series, their kind of ARP9 competitor that Classic Army released, I believe, 5 years ago now at this point. And with the type bore barrel and the ECS digital trigger with programmable firing modes, they do have a high rate of fire. They are LiPo ready. And with the type bore barrel, you're also going to get solid groups in. On our 3rd spot is the Vulcan ASL series, retailing for around $180. Now, Vulcan has been around for a little bit. Again, I heard about them in the UK before I heard about them in the US. And the Vulcan series has been known to be a little bit on the cheaper side whenever it comes to quality. But with the field that I'm playing at, their rental units they have, both for an upgraded and their base set, are Vulcan ASLs. The Vulcan ASL, again, retails for around 180 bucks. It takes basically any type of magazine, so I like to experiment with this. And for a newcomer, it might seem kind of ridiculous that this happens, but it's just kind of a thing that a lot of airsofters had to deal with. Not all M4 magazines are created equal, but with the Valken ASL, I have seen pretty much every type of magazine I have ever gotten my hands on will fit and feed in this thing. It just accepts, it feeds flawlessly, it fits with a little bit of wiggle room, but you're gonna find that with majority of magazines, they will wiggle a little bit, but this thing will take it and it will feed just fine. It has a lightweight design with a high density polymer. It's different than the fiberglass reinforced receiver, but to be honest, I don't know plastic. You don't know plastic. We can't really tell a difference, but they are still high quality. Even with a high density polymer receiver, it also has a high density polymer stock and a high density polymer handguard. So it is lightweight overall. So if you are in a CQB environment, or you might not be super strong to tote around a full metal, this thing's like 7 pounds, 7-8 pounds, rifle, or you might be a smaller build, this will be a lot easier for you to carry than a full metal rifle. And I get it. A lot of the big, strong, experienced players might not think that's a lot, but ounces make pounds. And it also has a reinforced metal and ported piston head, which also gets good for air seal, has a higher quality of internals as well. And overall, it is a solid. It doesn't offer anything crazy, amazing, super cool things, but for 180 bucks, you really can't beat it. It is a reliable brand with a very good customer service base who offers their services for rentals for a lot of different fields for a very decent price for the fields. Also, they're just a solid brand in general. I like everything they put out. I have not seen anything that would make me doubt Valken and their build quality of anything. So Valken ASL series is a solid contender for this list. Now, last but not least for M4 rifles is the G&G Combat Machine. If you've been playing for as long as I have, you would know that back whenever I started playing around the 2017, 2018 timeframe, the G&G Combat Machine was the meta for a lot of new beginners. I didn't start with the G&G Combat Machine, but I had buddies who started around the same time I did, and they ran a Combat Machine, and to this day, that thing is still rocking. It does not have a 6.03 Type Warner barrel. It does not have a crazy cool quick change gear spring system. It does not have a super fast electronic trigger and programmable trigger modes. It doesn't have any of that. But what it does have is solid built internals, mix of metal and polymer exteriors, and compatible with majority of upgrade parts. If you know G&G, you know that is reliability. G&G makes a lot of internal parts of very high quality, and they can take a lot of other brands' parts. G&G Combat Machines I've seen be sold secondhand for 150 bucks, and then a user takes another 150 bucks in internals and has it compete with $600,000, $700,000, $800 to $1,000 builds. The G&G Combat Machine can take a lot of different internal parts and upgrades if that is your choice. It is compatible with almost everything on the market outside of a couple of oddly specific brand proprietary things. But the G&G Combat Machine is a Honda Civic of the airsoft world as far as M4s are considered. It can take everything and keep on going. These rifles last for a very long time and are great bang for your buck. All four of these rifles have, in my experience over the past 8 years, have proven themselves to be a very solid rifle for the spot of a beginner brand. Now, with that being said, I do want to make one honorable mention for a AK style rifle, and that is going to be the AK-47 or 74U, whatever, by SEMA. The metal gearbox with reinforced bushings and gears make it again a Honda Civic. It's the same thing with the G&G Combat Machine, but in the AK world. This is going to be my only AK recommendation because I don't know AKs. I'm sure there are plenty of other creators on the site or across different forums, Reddit, whatever, who will recommend a better AK. That's just not me. That's just not here. You can get a SEMA Sport AK-47 for as little as 145 bucks. They might come with plastic, real wood rails, real wood stock, real wood handguard. They might come with full metal rails, folding stock, swinging stocks. I don't know, but they come with a lot of different things. Now, why these brands in general? Why the Specna Arms, Classic Army, Valken, G&G, and SEMA? Now, over the past 8 years I've been playing, these have a reputation of solid beginner rifles with solid internals. even some that include the basic ETUs, the electronic trigger units. They're able to be upgraded with other V2 or V3 gearbox parts and can be upgraded to outperform, again, $500, $600, $700, $800 builds with no gimmicks or shoddy quality. Speaking of gimmicks and shoddy quality, these are the brands to stay away from. They're not always going to be crap. They might look really cool and they might have some great brand tied to them. You might have a Real Steel brand, a Geisley, a Strike Industries, a Chris, a whatever. I would stay away from anything with the Real Steel brand tied into it as your first rifle. And the reason for that is you are paying for that name. They will, a lot of times, so if I'm going to bring up one, God, this is going to get me in trouble. The 6mm Pro Shop and the Strike Industries collaboration they had on e-Vike, these are okay rifles. They're okay. Their performance is mid at best. They have pretty much the exact same performance as pretty much anything I've recommended in the past, but you will have a higher price tag because of that Strike Industries name. For instance, this rifle seems really cool and it looks really nice, but this stock is super small. Good luck fitting a battery of any decent size in there, and also you need an Allen key to open it. So unless you want to be on an airsoft field and also carry around an Allen key to unscrew the cap, good luck. Now, 6mm Pro Shop, I have not heard of any good quality rifle they have made. It's just not the best quality manufacturing for rifles. They make cool Speedloaders, but as far as rifles, I wouldn't really risk it for your first rifle. That's just me. Anything from big name store, I'm talking Walmart, Academy, Dick's, Shields, Best Buy even, I've seen that a few times. These are your Crossmen, your Game Face. These are going to be your low-powered AEGs. They're just, that's going to be these Clearsoft guns. I like calling them Clearsoft. I think it's kind of funny. One, they're not going to be high quality. Two, they're going to be really cheaply made. Three, the batteries that come in them are bound to explode. They're overall just not very good guns. This was my first airsoft gun, was one of these Clearsoft ones, and they just didn't last. I had a BB, knowing what I know now, I don't know how this happened, but I had a BB end up inside the gearbox shattering and also shattering plastic gears inside of it, and it just rendered it useless. That's not supposed to happen, and on any of these ones, that won't happen on any of the ones I recommended. So stay away from anything from a big name box store. Matrix is another one. Matrix makes half-decent BBs. They make half-decent pouches. They make some okay stuff for on the budget. I would stay away from any guns that they make. Again, I'm not saying these companies are horrible, and I'm not saying they're scams, but I am saying for a little bit more money, or perhaps even less, you can get a different rifle that is going to have better performance and last you even longer. Same thing with Double Eagle and Golden Eagle. Also, these have had a reputation to be of shoddy quality. They're just not the greatest. And then finally, APS. This was my first actual, official, high quality airsoft rifle. It was this one. I called it Black Widow. It was this really cool black and red race gun looking thing. It gave me nothing but problems. So first off, as you can tell by the stock, this is very small. It can barely fit any decent sized battery. I think it had to fit like 1,000 milliamp LiPo battery, and it just wasn't very good. It had like 280 to 300 FPS on a 2.5. It just wasn't very good. And overall, it came down to it that the insides just didn't hold up anything past like 6 months. I ended up just replacing out the entire gearbox, and then I got a whole different rifle. And this thing is just kind of sat collecting dust because it just isn't very good quality. I would stay away from APS as well. So with that, on to what we need to make an airsoft gun, an AEG in specific, run. So we're on to batteries. Batteries are a very specific niche thing that needs to be addressed. The two most common batteries you're going to see are going to be your nickel metal hydride and your LiPos. A couple of my buddies did recommend lithium ions. I just don't know enough to recommend them, so Titan batteries are out for this one. So I personally run only 11.1 LiPos, but I also have a gun that will take an 11.1. So if you want, you can start off with a 9.6 if it will fit, or a smaller 7.4 LiPo. Now, the 7.4 LiPos are smaller and have better performance over a longer period of time. The 1100 milliamp batteries will get you around a day's worth of playing. Depending on how much you're shooting. So it'll be for around 1100 shots-ish. The 11.1 LiPo, if your gun and replica can take it. Some replicas can't take an 11.1 LiPo, but 11.1s will get you a faster rate of fire, a faster trigger response, and it might be overall better for your gun. For charging these, balance chargers are a solid and cheap option for LiPos. They are what I have used in the past, but you will eventually run into issues that might not make a LiPo battery last as long as it could. That's when smart chargers come into play. Smart chargers are going to run you from $75 to $200. Anything more, I have no idea. I have my smart charger that I bought probably about 6 years ago, that I've had for about 6 years, and it's ran me about 120 bucks. Smart chargers will always be the best option, and don't forget, whenever you are charging batteries at all, you do want them to be put in a LiPo bag, just in case of any explosions, fire, sparks, whatever. Heat might cause a battery to expand, and then expansion into explosions. So be careful with what batteries you purchase. You're going to want to have about a 20 cc discharge rate on these batteries. Anything higher, you're risking of burning out your contacts, you're risking blowing fuses, you're risking overcharge to the motor. Just try to keep it of about a 20 C discharge rate, maybe even lower. On to BBs. 0.25 gram BBs are going to be the community standard. They're the most common that you'll see. They're at all different types of fields. 0.28s and 0.32s is what would be best for open field or a longer range of play. Good brands to get are going to be your Evike, Elite Force, Tippmann, G&G, High Powered Airsoft, Crytek, EMG specifically, so Evike and EMG, it's the same thing, but two different boxes, are all going to be your best bet. My favorite BBs to run have been the high-powered Airsoft BBs. That's just my favorite to run, as well as Tippmann's. I run 2 8s and 3 2s in most of my replicas whenever it comes to field play. I run 3 2 specifically whenever it's for gas blowback, but for AEGs, you can't go wrong with a 2 5 or a 2 8. Some fields, if you are outside, do require biodegradable BBs or BBs of a different color, so be mindful if your field near you requires bio or a specific color. If you are outside, be sure to get that so that way you can still play. Now, with BBs, we need something to store the BBs in, so we're on to magazines now. Now, magazines, I have 3 recommendations for magazines. Now, these magazines are going to be around the $10 is going to be the max for one. Never mind, I lied. $14 is going to be a max for one magazine. Now, overall, the golden standard, the golden child for M4 mags in the community are the EPS EPM ones, but they are $30 a piece, and I don't even run those. So I'm not paying $30 for a magazine, so they're not included. Sorry, Noah. I know you like your EPS EPM ones. I'm not including them in this list. So right off the bat is the evike.com Banff Gen 1 and Gen 2 mags. They are $10 a piece or $50 for 5. They can hold up to 190 rounds with no extra rubber or grip on it, so it can fit in any 5.56 magazine pouch. And they come in different colors and different styles for your kind of vibe. Now, the Gen 1s and the Gen 2s are the exact same on the interiors. They just look different on the outside. They can fit a high rate of speed. They can fit 190 rounds, which is pretty solid for a mid-cap magazine. The ones I run, the KWAs, are 120 cap, so an extra 70 rounds per magazine is a solid option. Now, that being said, with these mags, I have a set, I believe 7 or 8 of these mags back home, and they had lasted me for about 6 or 7 years before they finally died. Just overall springs, just use of them, they finally just stopped really feeding and just kept double feeding. I got about 7 years out of these mags. And for 10 bucks a piece, you really can't go wrong with these. Now, onto what my recommendation is, and it's probably because I just really like KWA in general, are the KWA 120s. These run for $14 a piece or $70 for 6. They keep up, again, with a high rate of fire. I think my KWA T6 that I have goes for about 30 BBs a second, and they keep up with it just fine. With a hard to break exterior and a long lifespan, I have actually lost a KWA 120 when I was playing in Italy. Lost it in just a massive field of grass in the winter and found it again the next summer, and it was fine. It fed just fine, and it just didn't care. They have, again, a long lifespan and a solid exterior. So good luck breaking them. Now, that being said, I am going to go on the cheaper side for the final recommendation for magazines, and I'm going to go the 6mm Pro Shop. These mags hold 140 rounds. They are $9 a piece or $60 for 10, which that's a good deal. They can fit a large span of replicas. Again, these are the one mag that I have seen fit in the most amount of replicas. They will fit in anything that will take an M4 mag from what I have seen. They will fit in your G&Gs. They will fit in your Valkyns. They will fit in your Spectre Arms, your Arcturus, your Crytacs, your KWAs, your ICSs. I have not found a replica that is not some crazy bullpup looking thing. It's like the Tavor, the FN 2000. They're more picky for magazines, but that's because they're bullpup and they're weird. But I have not found a standard M4 replica that will not take these mags. These things will fit in everything I have found. Over the span of 8 years, that's impressive. I've seen a lot of different M4s and a lot of different brands, and I have not found one that these won't fit in. So again, they hold 140 rounds. Again, it's less than the Evike BAMPs, but it's more than the KWA 120s for cheaper the price. It's up to you. Now, again, they can fit a large span of replicas, but they're also super lightweight, but that does not mean they're fragile. These things will take an absolute beating. They have a little cap on the bottom that you can take the spring out and clean out the insides and everything like that, but they are a solid chunk of plastic. These things are very hard to break. I've stepped on them by accident. I've dropped them. I've thrown them. I have not seen these things break. And they have a Stanag mag silhouette. They look like the original, like Vietnam style 30. I don't know much about history. They look like the standard metal M4 magazines, and they will fit in any 5.56 mag pouch. So we have our mid caps, but we don't really have a way to fill them up. Our high caps have a window in them and a reservoir, but we don't really want to sound like Maraca whenever we run. So on to Speedloaders. So with these two options that I have are the only two Speedloaders I have really ever used. It is the 6mm Pro Shop and the Odin Innovations. Now, I have talked about 6mm Pro Shop at the beginning of this video when talking about the M4s. 6mm Pro Shop makes a high quality speed loader. I don't really think that carries over into making a high quality rifle. They make a high quality speed loader, which is this thing. This looks and has the exact same shape of a rifle mag, of an M4 mag in specific. They are translucent, so you can see the capacity. They do come in different colors. They come in smoke, which is this one. They come in a clear, they come in a blue, and they come in a green. So whatever kind of vibe fits your whole kind of shtick. They do have an adapter at the bottom, if I can remember how to get this thing out, for a gas blowback magazine. So that's always cool, and each one of these come with this. So if that's your kind of deal and you do have a GBB, you're welcome. But because it is just a simple push and plunger style speed loader, they will fit in any magazine. So if you do decide to go a different route with an AK, that is so loud and obnoxious, these will feed your mags just fine. Now, they retail for around 15 and 20 bucks, but you can get them on sale. I think I got my first one for around $8, and I've seen Fields offer them for like 12. So there's that. Now, for M4 mags in particular, this is what you're going to want to get. This is also very loud. And this is the Odin Innovations Sidewinder. So you just have the crank on the side, and it just drops. BBs, these are now everywhere. So these will fit majority, if not all, of M4 midcaps. I have not found a type of M4 midcap that this thing will not feed into. They will feed the midcaps very quickly with about 12 rounds per rotation, and you can just rotate it very, very quickly. And it has a lot of adapters on the market for any type of midcap. You can get something for an AK, something for a 9mm style midcap. You can get them for a G36 as well. They have adapters for any style of magazine you may have. So with that, I have used this one, I think, for about 3 years now. I have had one somewhere around here that I've used for pretty much the entire time I've been playing, so for about 7 years, and they're amazing. I love these. I absolutely love the Odins. Now, we have our gun, BBs, batteries, and magazines, and our speed loaders. Now, there's one really important thing that we need to cover, and that is eye and face protection. So, this is the last segment. Let's get into it. All options that I'm giving will be both full seal and ANSI rated. Please do not buy iPro from Temu or freaking Alibaba. Don't buy those really crappy Chinese cheap made masks or anything off Amazon either. Get these ones or get something similar, get something from an airsoft shop near you, or get something that whoever else is at the field recommends. Or a lot of times fields will just have full paintball masks for you to run if you ask for it. So the Vulcan Sierra tactical goggles are offered for around $30. They have dual pane lenses, which is harder to fog, which is the same sort of tech that a dye mask uses. It has clear tinted and yellow lenses, and with an optional prescription insert if you want. Those are sold separately. So with these, they are a slimmer style of goggles, so they're not exactly the Battlefield 4 guy type of goggle, but they are a little bit slimmer, they are a little bit sleeker. And if you do have glasses and you don't want to run contacts like I do, they do have an option for a glasses prescription insert. I'm a big fan of these. I've ran these before. They are impossible to fog. I have never had an issue with fogging, though if you do want to run a baseball cap with them being goggles, it will sit a little bit higher, and they're not the greatest for baseball caps, but they work just fine if you are running a helmet. Now, if you want something that you can wear under a baseball cap, let me introduce you to the Vulcan Tactical Zulu Slim Fit goggles. That is a mouthful. These run for about $33, so $3 more than the other ones. These are fit more like glasses, but they call them goggles. Don't ask me why. They are, again, low profile, so they will fit under a baseball cap just fine. They also have the same clear tinted and yellow lenses, and they can change between the temples, so the just arms that go around their ears, or they can change from the straps that go all the way around your head, so that way there's no issue with them falling off. Both of these iPro I have used and I have really liked in the past. I would not recommend doing anything super crazy. You can get iPro that is full seal and that is hard to fog for anywhere between like 40 to 120 bucks. I would not recommend those. For one, it's 120 bucks, and then also it's very hard to find anything outside of a dye mask or a paintball mask that is truly anti-fog. The closest I have found are these Tactical Zulu goggles and the Sierra tactical goggles. These are the only ones that I have found that don't really fog all that much. No matter your age, every field is going to require you to wear iPro. That is just the nature of the field. But a lot of the fields that I've been at, if you are above the age of 18, Face Pro is not mandatory. But again, I say mandatory, but it is highly recommended. Teeth are very easy to break. I have gotten a tooth shot out by playing Airsoft, and my mom was pissed. Sorry, Mom. On Evike, there are solid options. There are also a few solid options with Amazon. Again, I will be sourcing most of my stuff from Evike. Matrix Shadow Fighter hood with a mesh mouth protector. It is a balaclava style hood with a steel mesh around the nose and the mouth, so it just covers a little Bane mask type of area. So that way, if you don't want your nose to be shot, which they do hurt, this will cover it. And it is low profile because the mesh is only around your mouth. So it allows you to get a good cheek weld if you are looking down a red dot. Now, with the Matrix Night balaclava headgear for around $20, all of these are around $20. It has a steel piece of mesh around the mouth, like my Delta mic, and it has foam around the mesh for padding, so you don't have steel digging into your lips. And it is the best for cheek weld because it is the most minimal amount of material. Now, with the Matrix Carbon Striker Mesh Mask with integrated ear protection, it has added mesh for ear protection. If you're not going to run comms or electronic hearing protection like I do, these will help you prevent your ears from getting shot. They do hurt a lot and your ears will ring if you do get shot in the ears. So these will protect that if you don't want to get new ear piercings for free at the field. These straps will allow it to fit a large range of head sizes. If you have a big or small head, the strap should be able to adjust with a little bit of electrical tape to keep the slack down for a large range of head sizes. Anywhere from Stuart Little to the Hulk should be able to fit. And with fabric in between the mesh on the ears and the mouth for plenty of comfort, so that way you can still vent and it is still comfortable and not digging into your face. With all that said and done, I know what you're saying. What about attachments? What about gear? What about boots and pants and camos? Listen, Airsoft has a lot of stuff. But as a beginner, I wanted to make sure that as a beginner, that the stuff that I have included in this list are just simply the most essentials. Your gun, your battery, your BBs, mags, and your face protection. With that being said, if you do want me to make other videos on attachments, on gear, on shoes, on whatever else, let me know down in the comments and I will be sure to make another video about whatever topics you guys want me to discuss. Again, I am not being paid by any one company or brand. No money has been exchanged. Everything that I have said in this video has been rather from my own experience, people that I've played with that have been playing longer or the same time as me. They're coming from fields that I know personally and that I know the owners or the refs or the employees personally, or they are coming from techs that have worked on these guns in the past. Airsoft is going to be a very expensive sport, and I'm so happy you watched this video, and I can't wait to see you on the airsoft field. My name is Noah in particular. Thanks.